to Alaska in size, Texas has given country music a sizable amount of talent. You think about it, George Strait, Mark Chestnut, Holly Dunn, just to name a few. Well, the latest Lone Star entry is Clay Walker. Here's an introduction to this newcomer who's hot off the presses.
Where do I fit in the picture?
His face may not be familiar yet, but watch out, here he comes. The 8x10 glossies are ready. The first single is ready. And inside this unassuming building on Nashville's Music Row, strategies are ready for the making of a country star.
And I would imagine that what Clay and I'll do is just decide what songs we're going to work up. But I want to make sure that his ending songs and the encore is the album.
But no TV people, just print for you.
Right.
Everything seems to be falling in place for Clay Walker, a 23-year-old from Beaumont, Texas, who has himself a record deal.
I used to dream all night.
He was discovered by Giant Records Nashville president James Stroud, who also produces top acts like Cled Black, Tracy Lawrence, and Little Texas. And Clay didn't even have to leave home.
Well, I went down and saw him. He was in Beaumont, Texas, where he lives. And I saw him in a club, and the place was packed, of course, and he came out and just knocked me down with not only his performance, but his songs. And so I talked to him. I asked him to come up to my hotel room afterwards because I wanted to sort of interview him and see how he spoke and how he handled himself. Because as you know, today our market is a media market. I like that opening line. I do too.
Clay also remembers very well this first meeting with the man who would become his record producer.
He flew me in and stayed at a local hotel, and my manager, Jeff Carver, got me to come over to the hotel and meet him. And, you know, I walked in, I was going to act like I wasn't nervous or anything. You know, we sat down, we had a great conversation, and his wife, Abby, was there, and I felt real comfortable. And I said, I wasn't nervous at all. And our manager said, well, you missed a belt loop, you need to fix it. So,
I used to dream all night.
he's one of the most unique artists I've ever seen because he has this professional side of him that's very opinionated and very careful and very focused. And then there's this kid part of him that you just want to take home.
I'll do my dreaming. With my eyes wide open.
Clay's first single is Dreaming with My Eyes Open, which describes his philosophy to a T.
my long-term goal was to be just as successful, you know, as a George Strait or a Clint Black or Garth Brooks. I mean, that's kind of reaching out there, and a lot of people may say, yeah, sure, you know, but I dream big, you know, and so far all of my dreams have come true, so I don't see why that's not possible.
Well, you'll hear his single in the upcoming motion picture, A Thing Called Love, which features appearances by Trisha Yearwood, K.T. Osmond, lots of other people in Nashville, everybody except us.
It's The Thing Called Love. We're going to get these titles straight before the end of the show. The Thing Called Love, right?
Right.
Well, we got to take a break. We'll be back.